Hey guys, what's going on? It's Brandon. So just to follow up on this track day thing, I want to be clear first and foremost. I appreciate the guy putting out the offer, to invite me to the event, and I'll probably go as long as it's conveniently close. Currently, I'm like in the state of Ohio, so I just don't. You guys got to understand something. I know maybe it sounds arrogant to you guys who are really excited about something. I've been around fast cars my whole life, so it's like, some people dream and dream and dream, and then they finally get to that point where they can go do it. I don't want to piss in their Cheerios and be that guy where it's like, oh yeah, this is old news. I don't care about this shit anymore. It's just once you're around something enough, you're not excited about it like you used to be. You're not trying to prove anything to anybody. So you say, well, why do you drive fast, Brendan? Well, because the other option is I drive slow. And when you're capable of driving fast, you get bored driving slow. You want to get from point A to point B, and you want to go see things and do things and experience lots of different roads. You drive fast. It's just simple logic. I'm not doing it to show off, but I'm also allowing people to see that I'm not a slouch behind the wheel. So, that's why the lateral G meter is up on the dash. That's why the EDIF meters up on the dash. Same thing with the anonymous driver. That's why it's displayed on, when he drives the car. I guess I'm just this mental conundrum for most people to fathom. And I'm sorry that that's the case, but I'm not trying to sound arrogant. But anyway, the point I'm getting at, and I don't want this to come off the wrong way, I do appreciate the gentleman big time for inviting me. And like I said, I'll try to go as long as it's nearby and it's convenient. He goes on to say in private message to me, he got a hold of me, which is great. I appreciate him. He goes on to say, this is a private event. And I'm not mocking him. I'm just telling you guys how I feel about such a thing. He's like, this is a private event. There's not going to be any videos. There's not going to be any, because it's all NDAs. They're testing equipment for all kinds of fancy cars, McLarens and blah, 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 and all these different brands. There's going to be lots of manufacturers there, Formula One racers, blah, 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 blah. Great. And I'm not against that, but let me be clear about something. Like, let's just cut back to the reality of what the whole purpose of this quote unquote dare was about, right? The whole purpose of this dare was people on YouTube want to see what I can do as far as a lap time at a racetrack. Okay. And then what am I finding out? There will be no videos and you have to sign an NDA. So is the world going to find out about my lap time at the racetrack and I'm not going to have any videos to prove it? So then I just get to endure another one of, it's like 1B fucking with me, right? 1B. And then if I try to accommodate that B and then go back and tell the other Bs, hey, I set a really good lap time at this racetrack at such and such an event. Do you have any videos? No. It's like hitting the beehive with a fucking bat. Now everybody, you don't have any videos? Let's see your videos. Oh, it's a confidential event. Oh, it's a da. I go from having one chihuahua, as he likes to say, to having 100 chihuahuas on my case. I'm trying to get rid of chihuahuas. I'm not going to block you, sir. You reached out to me. You politely invited me to an event. That's great. But understand something. I block people on a daily fucking basis because I'm not here to prove anything to you guys. You prove to us this or else we're going to insult you. Prove it or else we're going to insult you. No, you ransoming pieces of shit. I'm not going to prove anything to you. I'll block you. You're not worth my time. If it's convenient for me to show you guys a lap time at a racetrack and you guys want to see it and want to see me turn a lap time, you say, Why don't you show us your laps from Spring Mountain? Guys, my memory card at Spring Mountain kept getting deleted. There was a quote-unquote error with the car. I was tied for first place. We're all running 118s. It's some other guy who'd never been beat at the racetrack. Every time he goes with everybody, he'd never been beat. And it's another guy who races Corvettes. It's a known thing that he races Corvettes. The three of us were all in the 118 range, and I forget which track we were on. There's many different variants at Spring Mountain. We were in the Z51 Stingrays, and we were running 118s. Could I run faster? Sure. Was running fast my priority? No. I was trying, and I've said this 1,000 times, and I'll say it again, I was trying to aggravate the car. You're not supposed to aggravate the car. Yeah, well, tell that to the deer that jumps out. Tell that to the kid who jumps out. Tell that to the person who cuts you off. I'm not supposed to aggravate the car. You're fucking up my line. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out what happens when the car gets aggravated. What's going to happen next? Because if I can figure out what the car does, then I can kind of put that into my toolbox, into my puzzle maker of, okay, if I do this, the car's going to do this, and then I can react this way and still stay on the road and not kill anybody, okay? Not kill myself or anybody else. So I'm always trying to figure out what is the car going to do when it is aggravated, right? That's what I'm doing. Same thing that Ayrton Senna does. I put it up on Facebook. I'll have to make a video and translate it over here to YouTube. Ayrton Senna, when he go around the racetrack, he go bop, 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 bop. He bop the throttle all the way around on the turn that everybody else goes smooth around. Everybody else goes smooth, and Ayrton Senna pop, 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 pop. He was doing that on purpose because he had his car set up to where, I'm not going to get into it. It's too long for this video. It's a whole separate video about how he had his car set up so that he could get the max speed, and then he would dislodge the back end in a digital fashion. And so it's like he was doing like octagons around the racetrack, putting it in a slight drift. Tony Stewart, all the guys who grew up racing on dirt tracks or grew up racing from a very young age and know how to drift, they all have this skill. I have the skill. I'm not going to say I'm as good as Tony Stewart or Ayrton Senna, but I have the same skill. Whereas people are like, no, you don't want to upset the car. Okay, bitch wuss. That's nice that that's what you think. I can go around the racetrack without upsetting the car. There you go. Wow, see, you set a really good lap time. Yeah. Now what I'd like to do is I'd like to go, and don't get me wrong, I'm not going to do this because the guy already said there's no goofing around. I'm not going to try to goof around. I'm not going to make a fool out of myself. I can feel a car. This guy acts like it's my first rodeo. You know, you guys, you're forcing me into a bragging state, and then you guys just light me up more. It's like kicking the bee's nest. And I just have no patience for it. So I appreciate the invite. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But understand something. As much good as there is to this, there's also as much bad. It's like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with dog shit sprinkled on top. Not really interested. Okay? There's good and there's bad to it. And I'm just making this video so that if anybody else wants to try to go take me down the same road, I'm all about my time not being wasted. And I'm glad that the guy told me up front. It's an NDA. There's not going to be any videos. Okay. Then what's the fucking point? No, don't get me wrong. I don't need to videotape to have a good time. I can come have a good time. But then everybody's going to be like, well, what happened? What happened? Sorry, guys. Can't tell you. I had to sign an NDA. You know, it's like, are we trying to solve the problem here of Brandon set a good lap time at a racetrack and it go up on YouTube, or are we not trying to solve the problem? Like, what is happening here? What's happening? You know. So anyway, I'm just trying to make heads or tails out of logic for people, you know, so that they can understand. Oh, I see what he's saying. I'm making fun of him because he doesn't have any videos on Facebook, and I'm telling him he needs to come to an event where he's not going to be able to put up the video on Facebook. I see his point. Okay, like, again, I'm sorry, but this is called low IQ. High IQ people get this stuff. It's there. It's in their brain. This is a problem. With this guy, apparently, I don't know. But anyway, he's a nice guy. He's invited me. He says I can come drive his car. That's fantastic. I'm not going to wreck his car, okay? I wish this guy understood my background. I'm not in an NDA situation, but I'm in a class respect situation. I'm not going to get into who I really am and all the things that I did growing up and blah, 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 blah. I mean, anybody who knows how to drive should understand when someone says, I've been drifting Jeep CJ7s in hayfields since I was 8 years old, 11 years old, proficiently drifting. Go try to drift a Jeep CJ7 in a hayfield. Let me know how it works out for you. It's very tricky. It's a square wheelbase. Okay? We used to call it power sliding. We didn't call it drifting. Drifting wasn't a word yet in my vocabulary. It was called power sliding. Okay? If you have someone who's a proficient drifter, they're a good driver because they know how to take the car to the limit and keep it there. If the car is not stepped out slightly, they know they're not at the limit yet. So next lap, they're going to add a couple more miles per hour to their lap. They're going to add a couple more mile per hour to their lap. Until you get into an E-diff car. If you do that game in an E-diff car, the car never steps out. Instead, the front wheels unhook and straight off the road you go. And people who know how to drive know this is true. Facebook friend suggests all the drivers at Spring Mountain, they all watch my shit. I know they do. They fucking, what's the word called? Snoop, stalk, creep. They're on my Facebook page constantly because it constantly suggests, you know, this driver's from Spring Mountain. You know, this driver from Spring Mountain. You know, this driver's from Spring Mountain. Race car drivers. Okay? Like, I'll just give you guys a hint. My family has a private bus when I was growing up. Big private coach. When our bus was in the shop, we would use the bus of a guy named Roger Penske. And when Roger Penske's bus was in the shop, he would use our bus. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to get into it all. Because it leads to people, like the scumbag pieces of shit of the world, there's a lot of them, start throwing around insults that aren't true about myself and my family. And then I'm going to catch 22 where either I remain silent and classy, or if I retaliate, you're running your mouth on Facebook and YouTube. When I could easily say, why is it that there's fucking strangers on Facebook and YouTube who are lighting me up with half-true stories that have enough detail to where I know one of my family members gave them the bullshit story? You understand? But I have taken the higher road. Hopefully you guys understand. I don't care what you guys think about my ability to drive a car. I don't care. You're the worst driver in the world, Brandon. Great. I'm glad you think that. I am glad. You're a worse driver than Justin and Conti for sure, and Speed Phenom. I'm glad you think that. I can't wait until the moment when there's a moment when we can all race each other and that there's an opportunity for you guys to put money on the line. A legal way for us to put money on the line where you guys don't turn around afterwards and say, this is illegal gambling. Da, 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 da. I mean, it's just one thing after another with you pieces of shit. It's just an ever-going bee's nest, bee's hive. And that's why it's easier for me to just block you guys. Block. Another low IQ piece of shit who doesn't get it. Another low IQ piece of shit who doesn't get it. The high IQ people watch my shit and they private message me behind the scenes and they say, hey man, I created a Facebook account just so I could talk to you. I can tell by the fact that you hit 1.2 lateral G's in the mountains that you are a fucking fantastic driver. I have never seen anybody hit turn after turn after turn. You don't have that road memorized? Are you fucking kidding me? You were going that fast on a non-memorized road? Man, you're crazy. I can't believe you're still alive. Blah, 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 blah. You're either going to be dead soon or you're a really good driver. Yep, that's right. It's one of the two. Which one is it, guys? Why don't you figure it out? I'm over 40 years old. Why don't you figure out which one it is? See ya.